Hello and welcome to Palindrome ASMR. I hope you can hear that. The slight swishy swish of the compressed liquid inside of this. Can thingy. I remember one time I was at church camp and it was nighttime. And I was walking outside, and all of a sudden I hear a big bang. It turned out someone had tossed a can of Axe deodorant on a fire. That's church camp for you. I remember in church camp, we would have these church-specific bonfires where it would be nighttime and all of the members of my church would gather around a bonfire and talk about religion and stuff and Christianity and such. Church camp. Church camp. I've been quite a few times, and every time it really affected me. You get that church camp burning passion when you come down from the mountain. And then 2 weeks later it's gone. And you're back to being the normal you. Personally, I think church camp is weird at best. Malevolent at worst. Malevolent. That's the name of a witch, I think. Don't remember which was which, but malevolence. One of the things that I find kind of interesting, this is a complete tangent, is that most people who can read don't consider witch and witch. We don't think of witch, the magic user, and witch, the sentence structure. What is that called? Article. Witch, the preposition, and witch, the magic user. We don't think of those as the same word, even though they're the same word. And if someone didn't know how to read, they would think of those two words as the same. But because I know how to read, and I've known how to read for almost as long as I've known those two words, whenever I hear witch in context, I think W-I-T-C-H or W-H-I-C-H, witch or witch. But they're not the same word. the spelling of the words influences how we pronounce them. It's subphonetic. There are subphonetic, this is a theory of mine, that the word which and the word which have subphonetic differences that any native English speaker can hear, and which are a result of the different spellings for the words. So, which, out of context, it's a little bit difficult to tell, but in context, which is which. The flow of the sentence creates subphonetic differences in the structure of each word that are noticeable, or that are clear, apparent to the native English speaker. And it's my theory that the spelling of a word influences how it's pronounced. And so if you have words like sun and sun, bear and bear, you say bear with it, and it's a bear. Bear and bear and bear. Out of context, it's a little bit difficult to notice the differences, but the bear can bear with it. So there's three bears. There is bear as in bear the burden. There is bear as in bear naked. And there is bear as in bear the animal. And they are all spelled differently, but they are all the same word. They're all the same word. I don't know why, but that just, to me, that's just amazing that I don't consider them to be the same word, because I can read. But if I didn't know how to read, I would consider them to be the same word. And the reason why I think this is because I noticed when I was picking up Japanese from anime, like a true weeb, I was picking up the words without letters, without their written form. And so kumo and kumo, which is spider and cloud, I think of them as being the same word, even though in English, when I say bear, like bear with it, and bear as in bear the animal, I don't consider them the same word. There is a lexicographical, semantical, innate, intrinsic difference between those two words in my mind. There is a phrenological phonological, phenomenological, that's it, that's the word. Phrenology is the study of craters, the skulls, but phenomenological separation in my mind between bear and bear with it, bear the animal, bear with it, and bear without anything, like bear naked bear. But with Kumo and Kumo, spider and cloud, there is no phenomenological split between those words for me. They sound like the same word. Because I can't read. I hope you understood at least some of the ramble that I just went on. God, that was a really esoteric ramble. I'm just gonna drink some tea now and shake this thing. Now, I have on my channel as a private video an interview I did with one of my college professors. And he lived for quite a while actually, in Japan as an English teacher. And he got into lots of trouble there, and I interviewed him for about an hour about his experiences. If you would like to see that video, it's already uploaded. It's just a private video. I repurposed this channel. I called it the Oral Tradition Podcast. And if you want to see that video, it's about an hour long, audio only. If you want to see that video, then just tell me, and I will make it public. There are some very interesting things. Let me tell you one of the stories that he told me. So, he was my teacher. I forget his name. He was my speech professor. He was riding in a bus with some of his Japanese English students, ESL students, because he was an English teacher. And he was riding in a bus, and they passed some vending machines. Now, he didn't know what was in those vending machines. They sell everything in vending machines in Japan. And so he asked, and the students, they said, are you sure you want to know? They were kind of hesitant to tell him what was in those machines. And then he finally got them to talk about what was in those machines. And guess what was in them? High school girls' used underwear. Used high school girls' underwear. Sold in little capsules. And my teacher goes, "Oh, yeah. That makes sense, doesn't it?" I mean, if you've watched any amount of anime, you know how obsessed Japanese people are with panties. Or at least, I always thought this was purely an anime trope. I always thought that Japanese people being obsessed with girls' underwear was merely a anime trope, like nosebleeds when people are sexually aroused. But apparently that is something that extends to the real life Japanese culture. The love of girls' underwear, panties. I just thought that was really interesting. And I only have one episode of the Oral Tradition podcast. But if you want to see more interviews with people, with interesting people, then just hit me up. Now that I have a web camera, I will use that during the recording so that you can watch the interviews. The first one is audio only, but the next couple of ones, I have several people lined up for interviews. All of them with interesting stories. And so, if you want to see that video, just hit me up in the comments below and I'll make it public. If no one asks, then I'll just keep it private and but I tried uploading it before, but according to the statistics, when this was an unknown channel, nobody watched it, and I think that was because it was unknown and it was audio only. I will be using audio and video for the next couple of interviews. It's like a podcast. It is a podcast. It's an interview podcast, and I was planning on doing more, but the dismal performance of the first video convinced me to forego the operation until I have a better platform for sharing it on. I do hope you enjoy this video specifically because I've been there hasn't been as many props lately, and I have simply been talking and doing my ASMR thing, but I think these last couple of minutes shall just be some crinkling sounds. And some swishing sounds. Swish, 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 swishing sound. Swish, swisher, swisher, swisher. Swisher, swisher, swisher. Swisher, swisher, swisher. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've watched this far and managed to sit through my rambles, I applaud you. You are amazing. You're the reason why I can continue to do this. The reason why I have motivation is because of the people watching, all of every single one of you. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. I do daily videos, and that's about it. Read my books. Zeppy Chang, Zeppycheng. Search that on Amazon and you'll find my books. And that's about it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed, at least, and I hope you were relaxed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the other side.